Hey everyone, I'm Shavir. In today's video, I am going to do an in-depth guide on how to do the new mechanic me and my friend found, the ball bounce. Before I even start, I want to say, ranked players, this mechanic might not be for you. I have to be honest, it's more about fun than anything else. It's kind of useless. Although there's a part in the video where I'm gonna be talking about certain ways that you can get bumps with it. So if you think that this could have a certain use in rank, then you can just skip that part and not watch anything else. I don't mind. Now, with that out of the way, we can focus on the guide. Something important to know before going for any ball bounce is that there seems to be three main types of cars that will give you different bounces. The first one are compact cars such as the Merc, the Octane Bills, the Road Dogg, or the Grog. What these cars do is that they bounce very high and gain a lot of speed. Weirdly enough, it seems like the more your car looks like a cube, the easier it is to get bounces. And with that, it looks like the best car for this category is actually the Merc, and the worst is the Octane. It's really easy to get high bounces with the Merc, I have no problem at all with it, but with the Octane it seems a bit more tricky. However, the Octane might have the best bouncing potential of all the cars I've tried. I've got my best bounce with it. It's overall very hard to get a good bounce, and I would say that it's probably better to just go with the Merc. The second type of cars are flat cars, such as the Dominus, the Batmobile, Sentio, and so on and so on. Those cars are easier to keep control of the ball after the bounce, because you're gonna bounce slower and you're gonna be able to just hover over the ball and do like a pinch on the ground or even go for a bump. One thing that I found very interesting is that it seems like the more weight the car has, or feels like it has, the easier it is to control it. So cars like the Ronin GXT, the Maverick GXT, or the Guardian GXT are pretty decent, even the Sentio. I even fell in love with the Guardian after that, I'm not gonna lie. Last but not least is, in my opinion, the best of all the categories, the flat car exceptions. In this category, you can find cars like the Breakout, the Skyline, or the McLaren. The way that they bounce is a combination of the flat and the compact cars. So you can get high bounces as the Merc, or you can keep your control pretty easily just like you're using a Dominus. If I were to start doing some ball bounces, I would definitively start with one of those cars. I'm done talking about the cars. Now it's time to talk about the setup. There are three different setups that you can do. The first one is dropping from the ceiling onto the ball, the second one is dropping from the wall onto the ball, and the third one is by hitting the ball off the ground and dropping on it. I personally prefer the ceiling setup because you still have a flip after to do whatever you want with it, so I will explain it first. There's two ways of dropping from the ceiling. The first one is by having a more horizontal approach, and the second one is by having a more vertical approach. If you're going horizontally, you should try to go more from your side of the field, so you have more space to manage what you want to do after. If you want to keep the control of the car, you should hit the ball with the center of mass of your car while having your car facing a bit upwards. If you're trying to get a good bounce on it, you should still keep that same angle, but hit the ball this time with the spot right behind the center of mass. The quality of the bounce is going to change depending on the speed your car has, the way you land on the ball, and also the timing that you have when you hit the ball. So if you hit the ball a bit late after it hits the ground, or a bit early, it's not gonna have the same effect as if you hit it at the exact same time that it hits the ground. For horizontal setups, I would recommend using flat cars. For vertical setups, if you're trying to keep control of the ball, just land with your car flat on it and angle your car down to be able to control yourself. If you just want to bounce up high, land once again flat on the ball, but this time look up high. You can also put a slight angle on it to gain more height faster, and I would say this option might be better to do in twos with a good teammate, because if you do that you can just wave dash on the ceiling while waiting for your teammate to, I don't know, put the ball up the wall and then send it to you for a redirect, or you can just bounce up high and wait for your teammate to hit it on the backboard for you to do something with it and score. So this potentially could be a fun way to hit some weird shots in freestyles. The best cars for a vertical approach are compact cars if you're looking for a good bounce, or hybrids if you're trying to get some good control. With compact cars that have the Octane hitbox, there might be a way to get really good bounces by hitting the ball with the back of your car and doing some sort of pogo on it. I haven't been really able to reproduce it so well, but it could be something to try on in the future. Setups from the wall are basically the exact same thing as setups from the ceiling, except that you don't have a jump. If you want to add a bit more style to it, you can do a stall midair, which could make it look cooler, or if you really want to flip, well, you can get a reset on the ball and then do your ball bounce. Because in most cases you shouldn't have a jump remaining, controlling the ball might not be the best idea. So instead, what you could do is bounce and go bump the other person. The way you bounce is you tilt your car a bit down to face the ground, and you get the ball to hit the backside of your car right behind the center of mass, which is going to make you go forward. You can still get some very high bounces with this technique, and you can go do like a pogo on the wall and then hope that your teammate does a great pass for you to redirect it in with no jump. Setups from the ground are pretty basic because it's the same setup as if you're going for a double tap, except that you're not going to hit the ball up high to hit it on the backboard. What you're going to do instead is hit it about halfway up the field's height, and you're going to follow it and do the exact same landing as I explained for the bump earlier. With this setup, the best use for it are bumps. You're not going to get any control, and bouncing up high at this range has basically no use, so going for bumps is really the only option in this case. As you can see in the replay, I tried to put a goalie in a place where he could be. I know it's not realistic, but it kind of gives a point of view from the opponent. It's pretty unexpected, and I would really like to see if it has a use in ranked. Well, that was it for the video. I tried my best to make it look decent, and I hope it wasn't too boring or not interesting, but yeah. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you later. Peace.
Night, wanna catch in my photos where you go, every corner twice as bright. They'll be my treasures forever. When I can't hold you tight, I'll see the Stockholm lights, the Stockholm lights, the Stockholm lights.